welcome back to my channel and welcome to a video that some of you have been asking for an update on. It is all of the products that I have hit pan on. And I was thinking about this video for a while because I know over the past year I've really used up a lot of things. I've had some empties, some declutters, all kinds of things. So I was like, well, do I have enough products for a full video to do that for you guys? And as I was going through all of my products, I was like, oh yes. Yes, I do. Some things in here are loved items that I have used up a lot of through the years and seen some good size pan on it. And then there are some things in here that are newer that I even got, I'm pretty sure this year, that I've already got a peek of pan on. It's not like a whole pan of it yet, but like a peek of it totally counts for being this early in the year on an eyeshadow palette that I'm seeing pan on. So I thought, why not go through some of these products with you guys and let you know, obviously, my thoughts. Because if I've hit pan on things, you know at this point, I enjoy it quite thoroughly. But some of them kind of surprised me that I haven't reached back for them in a while. So it's kind of like, on that product, have I used it to its fullest potential for me? Is it time to declutter? Am I going to try to use up more of these products? I may be just kind of marinating on that with you guys as I'm going through this collection here. So as you guys know, I do tend to be a bit chatty. So I like to tell you to grab a tea, grab a snack, get comfy, because I actually have a decent amount of products that we're going to be talking about pan with. This is a little pan porn for you. Cheers! I love hearing from you guys when I do these videos, what you are snacking and drinking while we're having our chatty girl time together. Today, I am having a tea in my usual wine glass because, as you know, I like to be fancy. I do prefer unsweet tea, though. How do you guys feel? Do you like sweet tea or unsweet tea? Just curious. Okay, so these videos for me are kind of fun to do, but at the same time, I have the too much gene, as many of you guys know. So a lot of times I'm also thinking, oh, well, I've used up this. No, that's an empty. Oh, I'm almost done with this as far as like a liquid product goes, but that doesn't, I don't know if that really counts as pan porn. So today, all of these products are just things that you can see some silver pan on. That's what this video is going to be about. So where do I start? Where do I start? I think I'm going to start with how I generally apply my makeup. So what I like to do in the mornings is obviously do some skincare, and then I go into primers. And a lot of you guys know, if you are not new here, I've got some bossy upfront pores and I have oilyish skin. So I'm always looking for something to help me have those pores look glass-like, be filled in, but not too cakey. And I have loved over this past year and a half, two products. One is very high end and one is an amazing drugstore item. And they are both pore filling puttyish primers. And I've hit pan on both of them about the same time because I was trying to see which one I liked better, and they're both awesome. I'll start with the high end. I have a smaller version here of the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. I liked getting this in a smaller amount because then, one, it's less expensive because this is a pricey brand, but also because I am always trying products here from BoxyCharm, Drugstore, things I've purchased. I always don't want to overwhelm my tiny beauty space, because if you are new here, you may not know, I live in a legit tiny house on wheels, so I literally have like only so much real estate in this little house to store all of my makeup and use it. And I do tend to do declutters and rotate as I need to, just to keep everything organized in this little mess. Okay, so this is not silver pan like I just said, but there is a bottom to this. I have been using this baby up for a while now, and I think I'm probably going to end up finishing this year. And I'm not somebody who tends to put this product like all over my face. I tend to target it right in the areas I need it the most, which is right here in the midsection of my face, but also right between my brows and a little up onto my forehead, just a touch. This always does a great job, no matter if I'm using just a very light to medium foundation for a face day, or if I'm gonna go full coverage. This does a great, just glass-like skin look for me. Really, no matter what look I'm doing, even if I just want to have a no makeup day, but I want everything to kind of look smoothed out, this is a great product for that. And its drugstore competitor, you're probably not shocked at this point, is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is in the Universal Sheer shade. It has taken me a while to go through this one, I'll be honest. There's a lot more product in here too, though, obviously. but you can definitely see the bottom on this. This is also a great product. I almost don't know if I would need to repurchase the Tatcha Silk Canvas as much as I do like it, because the e.l.f. product it's just as great, and it does the exact same effect for my face, where it blurs those bossy pores, makes your glass skin-like, which is definitely a trend with makeup right now. It's like glassy skin, neutral, natural makeup. And this really supports that as well, and it's really inexpensive, and you get a bunch of product for very little money. e.l.f. has definitely just become, I feel like, a really great drugstore trailblazer in the industry to have quality makeup that's not overpriced, because a lot of us know drugstore makeup has definitely started going up in costs, and e.l.f. has probably experienced that to some degree as well, but nothing compared to some of the other ones. So it's really awesome when a brand like e.l.f. comes up with things that are competing with such high-end items and amazing for very little money. I just love that so much. I think I'll be definitely using these up this year, but stay tuned, we shall see. I don't really give myself like deadlines to, oh, you only have till this point to finish it, because like I said, I do try a lot of makeup here for my channel. I also get a lot of BoxyCharm items that I never know what's coming in, so it's always hard to kind of give myself timelines for stuff. I've tried that in the past, and I'm just, only so many deadlines a girl can handle, you know? Okay, you guys know your girl is a powder lover. Having oily-ish mostly skin, it gets a little combo-y in the winter months, but I also live in the very humid state of Florida. So honestly, I love trying good powders to see how my makeup can look throughout the day so it doesn't get too shiny, but also look natural, look put together, and I can refresh. I apparently have hit a lot of pan on so many face palettes and powders that are pressed. You won't be surprised if you are a longtime subscriber of this channel to know the CoverGirl Advanced Radiance Powder is an amazing drugstore powder. I've raved about it for years here on my channel. It's a creamy formula that applies beautifully underneath the eyes and down the nose or all over the face, however you want to do it. But the way I love to use this product is directly under the eyes for setting it before anything creases, and down the nose, because that tends to be an area my makeup can break apart about midday. So when I apply this powder, it just makes everything look great. I've used it all over the face, but the main target areas I use are right in this arena. So I've used it so much throughout the years, you're not shocked. I think this is like my 10th, 12th, 50,000th product. And this pan is just representative of what this usually looks like in my beauty space. This is not an uncommon thing. I was at the store the other day, knew I had already gotten that low on the product, and I know I go through this so quickly because it is such a great universal powder to apply while you're doing your makeup in the morning, to set down your makeup after you're kind of completed, but also for touch-ups through the day. It's great to just toss in your bag that I already have a backup, and I don't usually have backups in a tiny beauty space because, like I just said, the real estate in here is very minimal, so I have to really be choosy, and I get to be choosy because there's so many good powders out there, and this is one that I think personally is top notch. You've probably seen this really showcased in a lot of my videos when I'm talking about products like this because it is so superior and you don't have to break the bank. I love that. Now I have two face palettes in front of me, and I recently, I would say within the last few months, hit pan on this, and I thought that wasn't going to happen for a while because truly I rotate this particular face palette in and out because I have so many face palettes from BoxyCharm, and one that I am trying to use up because I love it so much. And I know some of you keep letting me know when you see it out for sale because there's another one in here that I'm like, I need to buy another one before they literally are extinct because apparently the brand isn't making it anymore. Which one am I going to talk about first? Oh my gosh. I lead into these things and then I'm like, which one do I want to talk about? Talk about the one that I recently hit pan on that really surprised me. This is the Cover FX palette. This is the Perfector face palette in the shades Light Medium. I cannot believe how much pan I have hit on this powder. If you guys have received this or got this or purchased it on your own, we've all had like a love story with this palette. We couldn't believe how good it was. I think we just got it in maybe a regular BoxyCharm or maybe a Luxe. I truly cannot remember. But as I always say with my BoxyCharm reviews, you don't have to get BoxyCharm to watch my videos to want to understand how the products are, because I do deep dive reviews on these products so you can know, is it worth your money? Is it worth your time? And this product, a lot of us love. I really thought I wasn't using this as much as I was. Clearly that's not true, because this finishing powder has an amazing luminosity but setting ability that is just amazing, that I didn't know I was using it as much as I was. Look how great that swatch looks on the finger. It's super creamy, a very smooth finish, and it just makes all of our skin look healthy because it's a matte powder mostly, but it has these luminescent properties to it that doesn't overwhelm, it doesn't detract, it doesn't make you break out, and it just lets it go creamy on the face for touch-ups, for setting your makeup, for doing anything you want to do with it. It's that good, and I had no idea I was using it as much as I was, and then I was like, oh my gosh, is that silver? Does that pan? And then it just kept growing and growing, and I still, like I said, I rotate this. I don't even use this weekly. Can you buy the finishing powder from CoverFX in like a single? Is that a thing? Let me know, because a lot of us have loved this. This is, I think, where the pan has really come to play in this palette, but a lot of the things in here are great. But I'm mostly specifically talking about the pan because I couldn't believe I hit that. I didn't even think it was happening. I almost wonder if I hit pan on this because of the other product I was leading you into a minute ago. The Tarte Park Avenue Princess palette. I was looking up on my like Instagram and stuff. When did I get this? I believe I got this in 2017. So this is a very, very loved item in my beauty space. I've done a lot of talking about this through the years. I've kind of had to lay off talking about it though, because it's no longer going to be for sale, but a lot of you do let me know when you see it like at Ulta on sale or Sephora, or if Tarte's actually talking about themselves in a sale. I'm still trying to get my hands on another one because, I mean, there's so much pan porn on this. It's exciting to see if you're trying to pan things, but it's also heartbreaking when you can't get it again and you know this is something that works so great for you. I mean, there's so much pan on this, I don't even know where to start. I think I first started seeing pan on this piece of the bronzer / contour. I know this is more of like a chisel palette, so it's supposed to be for contouring, but I could definitely use these as like more like matte bronzers. And I always loved using these lighter shades to highlight under the eyes, down the nose, kind of if I wanted to do any baking or chisel out a jaw look. I could do that with this whole palette. It's amazing. As makeup trends change though, I'm sure that's also why some makeup turns over, because a lot of us aren't contouring anymore. I mean, that's kind of something we've been talking about and noticing in the makeup community. We're doing this very natural look, and we don't need that whole Kim Kardashian cut chiseled look, because one, it takes forever, and two, it's just not the way that a lot of us like to do our makeup anymore. It's a lot of extra steps. I still really enjoy this palette though. I am like on the ridges here trying to use it up. Sometimes if I'm trying to do like a slight nose contour or trying to go to the edges of this for the powder, it's a really great product. And you guys have been letting me know, thank you. I'm just always late to the boat by like the last second. It just held sold out. So I'm still on the hunt for this, but look at this. I mean, this is an endorsement for a product, right? Even though you can't really get it anymore. I think this palette was one of the things that really started making me take note of Tarte in about 2017, along with something else I'm going to be telling you about here in just a little bit. That's an eyeshadow palette. Yes, pan on eyeshadow palettes. That's coming. Stay tuned. Okay, now we still have to get into some more face powders because, yep, your girl's not done talking about face powders. She's hit pan on. My face eats a lot of makeup. I mean, I always joke about that from time to time, but it's something where I could keep layering and layering and layering, and yeah, you definitely see it, but my face can eat it. There's just so much that I love to put on and try. And this product, again, isn't that old to my collection. It's probably, I got this from a BoxyCharm, I want to say in the fall. And I already am truly considering a backup. I've already been perusing online where I can purchase it for the best value because, again, I do like getting things from BoxyCharm because I get them pretty much for 25 bucks a month. You know what I mean? This is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold Soleil. I mean, what do I do to hit this much pan on a bronzer this quick? My face eats it. That's the only answer I've got. There's so much pan on this. I do love this product for a lot of reasons though. It's a beautiful bronzer that not only warms the face, which is a bronzer's job, but it also blurs. And it's not too shimmery where it looks like there's glitter on your face or anything. It's this very smooth product that is kind of deceiving when you look at it in the pan up close, because she can look a little rough. She can look like she's a little jaded. She's had a hard night out partying. I know she kind of looks like it's unappetizing to see close up. However, just sticking this on my finger is just a small representation of what she can look like on the face. on the cheeks, blurring out all those imperfections, but giving you that healthy glow. And she smells delicious. That doesn't hurt either. And when you look in the pan, you do see stuff that if you are not someone who likes glitter or a lot of shimmer, you could look at this and be like, ah, no, not for me. Gonna break me out. Gonna make my pores look gigantic. Going to make my oily skin look like it is making me melt in the sun, and I'm gonna look like a grease ball. I promise. On this oily girl's face who's also going through hormone replacement therapy, keep that in mind too. I still love it and have loved it for a long time to this degree. It's crazy. I've even called this, I think, one of my magic tricks behind the scenes, where if I just need to do a fast, easy face, but I want that little sun-kissed glow right across here, this is the product I use. And I don't have to use any matte bronzers beneath this to support it, because I've recently talked about in another video how what I would do is take a shimmerier bronzer-ish product from Natasha Denona, and the way I would use it is start out my face with a different matte bronzer and then warm up the face to the degree I want, and then use that as like the topper in a way. This doesn't need any of that. This has spoiled the crap out of me, and this is why I'm already looking for another one, because literally this will warm up your face, blur, give you that shimmery glow that's just that healthy skin glow, and not be overpowering or halfway through the day make me look like I am a drowned rat. I don't know the magic that happens in this compact, but I know I don't want to be without it, especially with summer approaching. So I've been literally sitting here giving you this love story about this bronzer when I have so many other things to talk about. But yes, I can't believe I hit so much pan on this. I cannot believe it. I've not even had you that long. It's one of my ride or dies though, right now though. It truly, truly is for making my skin look great. It gives me all the feels. I need to take a sip after that. I feel like I've got the vapes. I got the vapors. Oh my gosh, and I'm about to tell you about more face powders that are shimmery and gorgeous that I've hit pan on. And I'm also gonna have love affairs with those. So I mean, just sit tight, get comfy, get your glass ready, get your snack going, because I'm gonna be talking for a minute. We're gonna be talking about highlighters, so you know it's about to get serious here. Okay, which one do I start with? Okay, I'm gonna start with one that I don't use as much now, just to give you a little second to get all situated, because when I get into some of these, we're gonna be here a minute. I don't talk about this product much on my channel anymore, simply because Wet n Wild is no longer considered really cruelty-free by a lot of people in the YouTube community. And I'm not going to get into the logistics behind all of that. There's plenty of information out there for you. But Wet n Wild is one that I fell in love with in like 2017. And this highlighter has had some pan on it for a while. And it is slowly growing and getting bigger. As a lot of you know, highlighters are my jam. Bronzers are my jam. Powders are my jam. I got a lot of jams. I should probably open a store. But this is one that has totally competed with high-end highlighters, illuminators in my collection for quite some time. This is the Wet n Wild Megaglow Highlighting Powder in the shade Precious Petals. Highlighters are always so much harder to show you the pan on them because they are so reflective, and I film in front of an open window that is sunny. So I'm hoping you can see the peaks of pan right there in the dead center. She's beautiful, I cannot lie. This one is something I just couldn't part with. I've actually gotten rid of quite a bit of the Wet n Wild that I've had in my collection through the years simply because I wasn't using it as much, or I used it up. This highlighter really makes me wish Wet n Wild would figure out their life with the whole cruelty-free status thing and selling in China, and just get their ish back together, because this is gorgeous. This is so smooth and buttery. And now that we know our friends at Becca are deciding to skip out town on us in September, I've always thought that the formula competed with them. Simply because it lasts. You can build it up to be this like blingy highlighter like everybody loved in 2017. Or it'll just have this light luminosity that just, it's always powerful though. But it's smooth on the skin. It doesn't accentuate the texture that a lot of us have and struggle with, especially as years go on, or if we're subject to breakouts, all those things. This highlighter was always a game changer for me. The formula, stunning. And that's why she's still in my collection, even though I don't talk about her that much. Do a quick swatch on the hand for you, because I have a feeling some swatches are going to come anyway. It's a gorgeous skin color for a lot of people too, because whether you have deeper skin or lighter skin, you can I'm literally layering this up right now just to be able to show you on camera, but you can add as little or as much as you want and it spreads beautifully. So really it can complement a lot of skin tones because it is able to blend and marry with other formulas on your face like powders and whatnot. So it's dead center there and it's like this gorgeous like pinky tone. And as you add to, you can see the luminosity and then you can just also keep wearing her down a bit and she can look a bit more subtle, but like in the right light, still bling. It's so pretty. I talked about this one a lot. Let's move on to the others because that's gonna get serious. Should we just start with Becca so we can get her out of the way because she's leaving us in September for some, she's just leaving us. She's ghosting us. I love this product so much that I stayed up at the most recent Ulta 21-day sale. I stayed up to 1 a.m. my time so I could purchase a backup of this one and more of the rest that I couldn't get before or didn't want to spend all the money on before, of the Shimmering Skin Perfectors, which is the fancy name for their highlighters. This one I needed to have a backup of before she went away because they were half off then. So I stayed up till 1 in the morning for this girl. 1 in the morning because she's that pretty. You know it. Just say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Champagne pop. It hurts. It hurts to know she's going away, but that's why I had to buy a backup because I don't want her to leave my space anytime soon. All right, this is Pan. I hit pan on this though within 6 months of having it in my collection. Maybe less if I'm gonna be flat out honest and try to do the timeline. But do you see the center here of how much pan is on this baby? I clearly love her. I say it all the time. I must look like a glazed donut in real life because I love me some shimmer. I love the glow, even as an oily skin girl. So you know, the type of shimmer I lean into has to be great. It has to blur. It has to perform well throughout the day and not make me look like a grease ball. Otherwise, I could not, as an oily skin girl with big pores, handle all of that on this face. Let's swatch her. Oh my gosh. She's so soft. She's so smooth. Does not accent more texture or fine lines. Let's put her over here. She's a bit more of a peachy tone compared to the Precious Petals from WetnWild. It's right here, and this is just with one dip. It blends beautifully. She smooths across the skin like glass. And that's why I'm just so confused why this brand has to go away because they can't make it because of the pandemic, because glass skin and natural makeup is very on trend right now. Now, granted, they are more of a luxury item. They're pricier. I'm just going to add to it because more is more, especially when I'm showing you guys swatches on camera. But she does get really blingy, so that's the other thing, though. But, I mean, I love it, and I'm not sorry. So right here is that gorgeous champagne pop. And for perspective, right here is Precious Petals. I hope you can see these. Oof. Bought a backup of this, and because of this, I also purchased the shade Opal in that Ulta 21-day sale for half off. Love that shade. If you were anywhere near my complexion, and if you like champagne pop, you would probably really like Opal too. Moonstone is a bit cooler tone, so if you're a bit fairer than me, that might be your jam. I do have that one now too. Love it. And Creamsicle. I have found that actually at TJ Maxx. And if you are a Becca lover and you're just like, I can't afford a $40 stinking highlighter, I got you. Go to TJ Maxx. They have small ones and big ones. Now, I'll be honest, not all TJ Maxxes are the same. So what I've had to do is kind of find different TJ Maxxes and maybe different types of areas. That's where you could get some really good deals. Didn't even mean to start making this a sales pitch or anything, just tell you about the pan, but I told you I was gonna get this way. I love this product, and I'm sad she's leaving, but I have to now throw it back. Let's throw it back to the beginning of my channel in 2016. I started with very little makeup, but I knew I loved watching YouTube and I knew it was something that I wanted to do. It was something that my performer soul wanted to get in on, and I've always loved makeup, but I didn't feel like I could teach makeup. I felt like I wanted to tell you about the things I loved and how I could help you. And I had been with BoxyCharm for about a year, and I knew I wanted to share with you guys how I was trying things differently and how I could do some more deep dives for you. And that was how this came into my life. Was my very first year on YouTube in BoxyCharm, before BoxyCharm was even known to give us anything name brand, something that was considered extremely valuable in the makeup community, especially at that time. I got my very first Ofra highlighter, and that was all she wrote. Once I had this in my life, I understood highlighters. I feel like this was my gateway product. Oh, I think that just triggered something for me. I think at one point I've said that maybe a year ago, and somebody said, what if you did a video that was like gateway products that led me into these type of things? Like, I don't know, face palettes, highlighters, maybe even brands like ColourPop. Would you be interested in something like that? Let me know below. Ofra's Rodeo Drive, even in the old school packaging, changed my makeup game, because at that point I don't even think I really even knew what highlighter was. I was still kind of just like doing very basic faces with stuff I got from the drugstore, and I was so excited to get BoxyCharm. At that time it was $21 a month to try all these indie brands, and then Ofra showed up and she changed my life. I almost within I don't know, 6 months maybe, had a tiny peak of pan on the side over here. Now you can see how much she's grown, and she's gotten even bigger. I don't know if you could see all of it because that bottom pan does reflect, and it's got some ridges in it similar to the pressing in here. And I've also been dipping on the sides too. So it's really a loved product. And I do have others, and as you guys know, I have a lot of highlighters in my collection. So the fact that this has so much pan, this is a memory for me. Not only is it a makeup memory, but it's also a YouTube memory that I feel like I go down the rabbit hole with you guys with. And this was when I even did an instant replay on that video where I was shocked at what it looked like and how it performed and how it didn't cling to texture or it didn't make me look like I was a grease ball. Loved it. I have other Ofra things that are in the newer packaging in my collection that I adore. Adore them. This one always has a special place in my heart, and when I do reach for Rodeo Drive, I think I have 2 other ways. I have a mini of it, and then I think I have it in a bigger palette that has a quad. I still reach for this. She's my girl. Ooh, so this is a brand I don't know if a lot of you have even heard of. Again, kicking it back old school to BoxyCharm. I received this probably 2016, 2017, around that time, from BoxyCharm. And the brand Vintage by Jessica Liebiskind definitely still makes the rounds from time to time in our boxes, and there's kind of one-off products. I completely used up one of her blushy highlighters. It was a pink tone that I kind of comboed as a blush and a highlighter to the point that it's completely gone. Completely gone. I think I used that up within maybe 2 years. Again, I must look like a glazed donut in real life. Own it. I own it. But this product also shocked me because I had never heard of it. I enjoy a good indie brand, but I thought it definitely competed with what I was understanding to be high-end amazing highlighters. This shade here is Rose Quartz, and this one over here is Chocolate Diamond. And every single winter, you will hear me rave about this, simply because I had never tried a cooler toned highlighter before. And as you can see right here, she has stayed in my collection because I reach for her every fall winter time frame. Oh, I did not swatch Ofra, but I'll swatch Ofra here in a second. Not that you probably haven't seen what that looks like by now. It's old school, but it's this gorgeous chocolatey shade, and I do tend to, there's a dip in the pink side too, but this chocolate one that was cooler toned really has always resonated with me, I think because of my personal skin tone and hair color. Even when I had purple hair, were you here for those videos? Even when I had lighter hair, I felt like, ooh, look at her. She just like, whoo! She can show up. And in 2017, that's the kind of highlighter you wanted. She also looks great on the eyes as well. That pan's easy to cover up too, and because the color is maybe not too dissimilar, it was always hard to show that pan. So I really hope you could see how much pan is on this, but she still performs really well, even though, like I said, she's older. She's been in my collection for a while, but you know what? Sometimes we age like fine wine. She still spreads beautifully, doesn't really accent any texture, and is a great cool tone that I don't have anywhere else in my collection. So, loved this baby. I'm gonna quickly go ahead and swatch Ofra's Rodeo Drive for you too, simply because I've been swatching it up, and I know you've probably seen her, because again, she's old school, but sometimes we just like to see it. Man, I forget how big, like, that's like one swipe. Look how good that is. Sometimes when you have good products, you just know. You just know. I think my whole hand at this point is starting to look like a big glitter ball, but I don't care. She's pretty. Stop talking about those because I have a lot of other things still to get to. Let's talk about brows really quickly, and then I think we're on to all eyeshadow palettes. The rest is eyeshadow palettes. Are you still here with me? Let's have a sip. All right, this is a messy little girl, and I've told you before she's messy because of the type of powder she is. But I have fallen in love with this brand. I believe I got this piece last year for brows from a BoxyCharm, and then they started watching my videos and were sending me some PR products to try. So I've been trying a lot of their different products behind the scenes, but this is the one that started it all. This is the Brow Bar by Rima True Glam Brow Makeover Kit in the shade Dark. As you can see, I have definitely hit pan over here in this powder, and I reach for this powder quite a bit too, but the dark brown is where I do a lot of like the starting looks of the brows, and I have for quite some time, as you can see. Oof, but she's so messy. She's already all over my desk making black and brown streaks all over this. She's messy, but what have we learned about loose powders when we're talking about eyeshadows? That means she's really pigmented, and that's why I've really liked this. I usually have to kick off my brush quite a bit so I don't drop a bunch of brown and black spots all over my face, but I do really, really enjoy this, and I've actually been using more, I believe it's their Bombshell palettes. I've been using those actually a ton more since receiving them from Boxy and them in PR, but this is something I'm still using up in my collection, so if you have some brows that are darker, but you don't want red tones, they have some great color shades, because a lot of times when you're looking at a brown, there's a little too much red in there, and as you can see, mine's just a lot more darker, but when you have fair skin, sometimes it's harder to find those, but I have loved their dark ones a lot. Eyeshadows. Let's talk about eyeshadow singles before we get into the palettes, because I do actually have some singles in here, one powder, two pots that definitely have pan on them. Now, for the record, one of the last times I did one of these pan videos, I had a lot more of my ColourPop collection in here to show you. But as you guys know, cream products tend to dry out or expire quicker. So that was why I really wasn't sure if I would have as many eyeshadow products to share with you, because I did dip into them so much that I would see pan, but they dry up a lot faster. Also, you have to make sure you're getting rid of them within a certain time frame because it's cream and it's on your eyes. So I only have two to show you today. One is ColourPop and one is from Ace Beauté. Now, I used this the other day, literally yesterday, I think, off camera. And this is a ColourPop. This is really old though, and this is why I think this one's gonna have to go soon. Mostly because it is pretty aged out, and when I was using it yesterday, it wasn't looking as smooth on the eye. But I do think I have a dupe in my collection that's a powder formula for it. I loved this a lot for a while. This is Going Rogue in the Super Shock Shadow from ColourPop. This was part of the Amanda Steele collaboration, which was a long time ago. I really loved this shade because it had just enough shimmer in it, but it glided all over the lid. It was a great starting point for lids, but it also had its own zest to it that if you just wanted an easy eye look, this was great for the eye, for the lid, and then you could just go. Like I said, I'm noticing the texture looks a bit grittier, so I'm thinking I'm going to have to declutter this, unfortunately, which sucks because I really love this, and I've used it quite a bit considering I don't really think of singles or cream shadows nearly as much as I did a few years ago. That's another reason I haven't really invested too much in ColourPop recently, because I know I would want more of their like jelly shadows and super shock shadows, and when I've purchased them, I enjoy them while I think of them, but then as new BoxyCharms come in that I need to review, and I get 3 boxes a month, anything from the drugstore, those tend to just kind of fall by the wayside because they don't sit where palettes sit or where face products go, so they kind of get off of top of mind, honestly. But they're always a really good value and a really good formula. I really was surprised when Ace Beauté had some pots roaming around in the BoxyCharms, because I really thought they were going to be the poor man's version of a ColourPop, even though they're pricier. Don't ask why that logic came to my head, but in my head I was like, I'm committed to ColourPop. Don't come in here and try to take away what they feel, what I feel like they are to me. Ate my words on that too, because I really do love they're not super shock shadows, they're glimmer shadow. Glimmer? Yeah, glimmer shadows. The shade Iced Latte is one of my favorites to play with this time of year and into summer. And this coppery brown shade is really gorgeous across the lid. If you just need an easy eye look for the day that looks like you tried when you really just put on something and left and went and zoomed, whatever you gotta do, this is a perfect color. It's also very wet feeling and super smooth. It's got some iridescentness to it that, oof, yeah, she's real pretty. And I've had her a little bit in my collection, and she's still wet. She still looks amazing. And if I'm doing like a super neutral, easy day, all I have to do is wipe this across the lids here, maybe a little up into the crease, put on some mascara, and it's a great juicy, goes with a really great juicy look Like if I'm gonna have the Too Faced bronzer on too with just a little bit of glowy shimmer. It's a great summer look. Love, love, love. So I'm really glad this is still held up, because I was concerned, since I don't tend to use up all of these within like 6 months to 12 months, I was really curious how it would last. And she is still performing super well. It doesn't have on here what the expiration would be on the packaging, so I am curious. I kind of want to look it up, but as long as she still feels right, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I really like it. All right, I'm thinking about decluttering this, but simply because I ended up buying this a long time ago on Amazon in a 3-pack, because I burn through these a lot. And this is before I started getting 3 boxes every month from BoxyCharm though. This is a cream single shadow from WetnWild. And again, I don't talk about WetnWild a lot on my channel, but this sucker lasts. I've always called this the perfect nude for the lid. A lot of us have talked about this before too. This is the shade Creme Brulee. I think it's actually Brule, but like I think French way to say it is Creme Brulee. I think it could go both ways. I've clearly hit pan on this, but this particular one has been in my collection for quite some time. And like I said, I purchased this really, really cheaply on Amazon with 2 others that are still fresh sitting in the bottom of this drawer. And yes, they're teeny, teeny, tiny. It's not like I'm worried about the real estate or the space these are taking up by any means. But it's mostly because I have been working on this one for so long that I almost wonder, should I just pull out a fresh one? Because this has been since before I moved to Florida, and I've almost lived here 3 years. So I'm thinking about just kind of getting rid of this one to pull out a fresh one, just because of age and time and the amount of times this has been opened and, you know, used with a brush, used with a finger. But I always loved this with another palette that I can't believe I hit pan on both of them. I'm going to be talking about in a minute. But this is a great cream powder that you can use all over the lids, all up under the brow. That's generally where I would use it, because sometimes I would be into my ColourPop palettes, for example, or another bold palette where I'd be putting on some like vibrant oranges or red tones or whatever I was doing that day. And sometimes as I was either learning new makeup techniques or different formulas, things would get a little crazy and I would need to dye it down a little bit, pull her back so everything looked, I don't know, work appropriate to walk into the office and not look like I had raccoon eyes or super red eyes or whatever I was doing that day. So this formula is really great to pop into with just kind of a fluffier brush, go up underneath the brow with just to kind of blend or smooth down some other colors. And it's a great neutral skin tone for me, so I could just kind of balance everything back out. I used it quite a bit, but I haven't in a while, and I'm just wondering if I should toss this one and pull out one of the fresh ones. Do you guys like when I tell you how I use things or how I like to approach certain things? Because I know that's how these videos get a bit chattier, but if you're enjoying it, I'll keep doing it. But if you're not, let me know. I still use this. Again, this is an old school eyeshadow palette from BoxyCharm. So I'm starting smaller and gonna work my way really big. This particular eyeshadow palette is a little trio that I got from IBY, and I wish we got more stuff from IBY again, because I had some stuff in my old school BoxyCharms that I loved. This is the Threes Company palette, and I have, I think in this past 6 to 8 months, hit more pan on these two. This is a great little palette that even right now with the way makeup trends are, super easy to use on a Zoom call day, or if I've got to run out and do a quick errand. This is a neutral matte shade, this is a shimmery copper shade, and this is a highlighty shade. There's pan in both of these, but this one's always really hard to showcase. But I think you might be able to see that there's pan on both. A good amount in the center. I've been using these, like I said, for quite some time, and these are great to travel with too when we could travel. Just literally pop it into a travel kit and go. I used this a lot when I was moving across the country too, because I wanted to have a little something on to feel my best, but then I had to, you know, move boxes or get out of that hotel room and get back in the moving truck, whatever it was. And this is just a great palette. I really think the formula is great too. I like it a lot. This is the other thing that really made me take notice of Tarte quite a bit ago, 2017, I think. This is the Tarte Leave Your Mark eyeshadow palette. And this is another thing that I traveled across the country with because it was small, convenient, super blendable and easy to use. And I knew this could really make me look like I had a good eye look on when I didn't even try much. The formula, really smooth, really neutral shades. And I remember like a year, 2 years ago saying how much I loved this. And I was like, this might be boring though, because there's not a lot of colors. Well, now is its season because it's really just that neutral, easy look right now, and people like a little bit of shimmer or just some matte and go. And this has a little bit of everything and a highlighter in it. This was something that I've had for a really long time, so you're probably not shocked if you've been here a while and you've seen some of my pan videos. This pan has just gotten bigger and the dips in these have gotten bigger, but that's about it. But I still love this and I'm still keeping this in my collection because she's still really good. Neutral lover's dream right there. Oh gosh, this is definitely first year BoxyCharm. I used to have two, a warm up and a cool down palette, but because I believe the cool down palette was not performing as well, I decluttered that one, which really hurt me. But we're starting to get some studio makeup in BoxyCharm again. I'm kind of feeling like we're going, you know, a little around with the brands again. So I really kind of hope some of the other brands that I liked a while back maybe show up again. This is the Studio Makeup On The Go Warm-Up Palette. This palette I took with me on my honeymoon. I got married in 2016, so I know I've had this for quite some time, and yes, she's messy. She's not that pretty because of the black packaging, but you can definitely see some pan up here. And this one's always hard to show the pan on, but it is right there up in this top right shimmer color. I always thought this was glorious, like on the lids, in the corners, up under the brow for a highlight. And this copper shade has such a dip in it, you could see pan probably within a few more uses on it. This was one of the first actual palettes we got from BoxyCharm. We didn't get full palettes back in the day from BoxyCharm. We got singles. We got individuals. We never got, what did we get? Like Makeup Geek singles. Did we ever get a ColourPop single? Maybe. But truly, these were one of the first palettes we got, and it's really quality. I really liked it, and I'm a little sentimental about it, but the formula was still good, so she's ended up staying through a lot of different declutters I've had. Okay, two more palettes to go through with you, and one of them is huge and been in my collection for a while, and another one is brand spanking new, like this year new. So let's talk about the older one that you may already know if you've seen some of my panning videos, but it is also the one that I told you I always really needed this when I would use this palette all the time. I always needed the WetnWild Nude Matte shade because it's a gorgeous matte creamy shade. And this palette has a lot of colors in it, but not that, which was always kind of weird to me. This is the Jaclyn Hill palette and Morphe collab. So this palette is from the first run. I don't know if you guys have seen the video I talked about this before or the one that Jen Loves mentioned it. There's technically of the original, the one that's the the volume 1. I know she had another one a couple of years back that was more red toned, and I believe she did add in a cream matte because everybody was like, where's a cream matte? I gotta start my face with something. The formula changed, I guess because of certain ingredients, and that's what made this change, but apparently there was like no announcement about it. So this is still a first run version that was apparently considered much better than what is being sold now as the Jaclyn Hill palette. This is the original that still has a really great blend to it, really great pigmentation, doesn't skip. This one is still really good, and I'm really sad that they no longer sell this version of it because it is that good. I did not want to buy this palette. It was you guys that were like, Nicole, I know you're going to say it's big. It's as big as my head, as you can see. I know you're going to say that maybe you don't know if you want to, you know, support Morphe or whatever it was at the time. I really can't remember. But you guys all were like, seriously, Nicole, you need this. Because a lot of you purchased it because you couldn't believe how great the formula was. And for the time, some of these shades, like the shimmers and the metallics, were a little revolutionary for the time. We couldn't believe the bold shades actually pulled and swatched and got on the eyes as bold as they did. I told my husband how much you guys said I needed this palette and I was still on the fence, and then he got it for me for Christmas. He's like, your subscribers said they want to see you use it, so use it. And as you can see with some of this pan, I definitely have. I think the first pan I started to notice was in this shimmer shade because I used it a lot for the highlighting. And then I started seeing it here in this neutral one. And the next one I think I would see it in is the shade Pukey here because it has the biggest dip in it. I reached for that one a lot. I've been pulling this out again. Again, the biggest detractor for me is the size of this sucker. I always put it next to my head because I'm always like, I have a lot of hair and it's a big head and it's bigger. And the way that these drawers are set up here, it's an IKEA drawer set. For the Alex drawers, there's no way to stand this up the way I like to be able to peruse through my palettes like they're books. This has to lay flat so it kind of gets buried under stuff because it is so wide and tall at the same time. But the formula is still really great. I still plan to keep this. Recently on my Instagram, and by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I've got to give myself a little shameless plug. You can follow it right here. I actually was going through my palette collection with you guys on my Instagram and asking you guys, hey, what do you think of this over that? And asking you guys to tell me which ones you still use, what you prefer, what you would declutter. So be sure to follow me behind the scenes for some more sneak peeks, behind the scenes goodness. I still really like this palette, and it could just be because it is the original formula, because I know some of you said you maybe have already decluttered it or you don't use it much anymore. Did you have the first round or the second round? Now I'm just curious. Neutrals, nudes, this is a lot of that. It's really popular right now. A lot of these shades look great on my skin tone, and then if I wanted to get really vibrant, because these are some other colors I enjoy, I could. But I always was stumped how it never had a cream matte shadow. Still stumps me to this day. This palette and the Tati palette are always so hard for me to store because they are bigger, so they have to kind of like lay flat. I do wish there was a better way to organize them. If you have any like organization tips for taller palettes that you want to stand up, let me know. Just curious. And the palette that I just got, and I was a little miffed that I've hit pan on it because one, that means I really have just been using this one a ton, and I've got other things I clearly need to give some love to, especially from BoxyCharm, because I have upcoming reviews for you guys for quarterly reviews. But also, that just means I'm going to be out of it soon. And that was the hard part for me to understand why people enjoyed panning, because I'm like, if I love it and I'm seeing pan, that means it's going to be gone soon. Especially one in particular shade for this palette. This is the Wander Beauty Getaway Eye and Face Palette. I know she doesn't look that special necessarily because it's neutrals, and like you've seen in my collection, I've got quite a bit of those. This formula shocked me. I wasn't even a huge fan of Wander Beauty, and I just kind of tried these on a whim, and I just was like, oh my god, they're great. They spread beautifully, they blend amazing, they last on the lids forever, and can you see this tiny peak here? It's actually gotten bigger since the last time I think I talked about this palette. The shade Villa in this palette is clearly my jam. It's clearly my jam. I usually start my eye look with it just to kind of start in the crease, build up the outer corner, and what I like about these shadows is they do build beautifully on themselves. So you can richen up the color, deepen it up. And I do have big eyes, so I tend to just kind of swipe in there and then go on the outer corner. That's the color I love a lot. And if I'm just needing a very fast, easy, neutral look, put that into the crease, pop on this highlighter onto the lid. Maybe if I'm feeling fancy, only if I'm feeling fancy, dip into one of these shimmers for maybe a little bit more outer corner, lower V thing, and then move on about my day. Literally. That's all I do. And hit pan. How the heck have I hit pan already? That means I've used this a lot, and it's not even that fluffy of a powder where there's too much kickback in it. It's not even like I can say, oh, it's kind of like that Anastasia Beverly Hills drama where it's such a loose powder that it falls out of the pan. That's not even the case here. I just use her a lot. I do. I really have. I guess I didn't even know how much I had until I saw pan, and I was like, whoa! Look what you did. Not mad about it. Just one of those things where I was like, wow, I do reach for this. This is an endorsement for this product, if that tells you anything. And I know some of you have said you've seen it in the BoxyCharm pop-up or add-ons, and then you've purchased it because I haven't shut up about it. Well, now you got the proof. Pan proof. Right there. Pan proof. Oh, this got a lot longer and chattier than I thought. I am almost out of my tea here. What are some things that surprised you that you've hit pan on? Because sometimes we don't realize how much we reach for something, and then bam! Pan? Already? Am I going to have to buy this again? What am I going to do? The thoughts trickle through our brains. But then there's also products that we know we love. Do you have anything in your collection that you're like almost only using it on special occasions because you're worried it's not going to be there one day? That's how I feel about this silly Tarte Park Avenue Princess palette. And it's not like I don't have other powders in my collection that could replace it necessarily. It's just I've got another Tarte palette that technically I do use in tandem with this or as in a replacement of this, but it doesn't change the fact that I still think this is special. Am I alone in this? Do you have any products like that? Please tell me below so I don't feel so crazy. And then there's always those old favorites that you're just like, yeah, I still love it. I'm still using it, reaching for it. Are you also a glazed donut where you've hit so much pan on so much highlighter that you're like, whoa, I mean, do I eat it in my sleep? What's happening? And then there's those times where you're like, this should have lasted me over a couple of years, and I'm already gonna need a new one within a year of owning it. Am I alone in this? I might be. I might need Glowers Anonymous. I've said that before, but it seems like a lot of glowy products I just can't live without. Do you have any eyeshadow palettes you've hit pan on? I know a lot of you have said you've never, ever, ever hit pan on an eyeshadow palette. So tell me if you are in that extreme or if you're in the extreme of you have to clean them. You have to see pan on them before you feel successful. Tell us below because I love when we do our little chats together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you happen to be new to my loud, weird, crazy, unique channel, hi new friends! I hope you take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on all of the fun, crazy, panning, shimmery makeup that I love to talk about all the time with you. Bye friends!